Hey there, this is Kevin Pascal, and you're tuned into the Hinted Neuron podcast. In the last episode, I tried to explain my thoughts on why everything boils down to sales and why every human needs to understand psychology. Today, I go into rich details on some psychology techniques that I hope would make you a better salesperson. First of all, you need to stand out. You need to be something or someone that can catch people's attention. I believe you can't decide how others will perceive you, but you can totally influence it. You agree with me that there's so much noise out there these days. Just look at social media. With the way people are always fighting to get other people's attention, with all the trash in the world, there's so much noise that people are beginning to ignore so much and have trained themselves to become filter. Recruiters receive almost 1,000 job applicants for every job they post, and they have to use software to filter. On average, only 1 in 100 startups get funded by venture capitalists. People are always trying to filter away what they think is noise and focus on the better. So the first question you ask yourself is, how do I not become noise? Yeah, seriously, funny question. How do I not become noise? How do I stand out? How do I catch attention? I'm a big believer in asking oneself these hard questions. The more of these questions you ask yourself, the better answers you come up with and the more effective your sales will be. Secondly, you need to sound convincing. You need to be able to convince people. And if people doubt you or they don't believe you, you won't make the sale. Let me present you with an hypothetical scenario. Consider Alice and Bob. They are both entrepreneurs. And if you ask them how much they made last month, and Alice tells you $10,000, while Bob tells you $10,629, who sounds more convincing? Well, you guessed right, it's Bob, because it's highly unlikely that someone into business made a flat figure of $10,000. These are little things you need to consider, especially when you're selling information. You need to sound convincing and real. That way, people want to give you their attention. If you raise doubt in people by sounding or looking unconvincing, you won't make the sale. They won't buy from you. If I have doubt that you're talented enough to work at my company, I'll choose someone else. If I doubt that you are the kind of person I could spend a lifetime with, I'll definitely look elsewhere. Now, I'm not saying that you should be dishonest, but always try to be creative with how you talk, all right? That makes people want to be interested in you. Thirdly, always know the why. Why should people buy what you have? Yeah, but seriously, why should people buy what you have? If I go to a store and I purchase something, I could be buying it because, it's a basic necessity or it looks nice, or maybe it could be used to some other time. This is the question we need to ask when going about our daily life. Why should we spend time with me? Why should they invest in me? Why should they listen to what I have to say? It's great to know the purpose of what you are selling, either yourself, the service, the product, or the information. If you don't know the purpose of something, then it will be hard for you to sell it. People are often too stuck talking about and listening about the what and not talking about the why. Do you remember this famous joke around salespeople? Sell me this pen. A novice seller will just continue going on and on and on about the features of the pen. But a person who really knows what they are doing would instead tell you why you need the pen and also the purpose of the pen. If you ask yourself the why and you get to know them, it will be helpful for you to sell effectively. Why should the company give me this job? Why should 100 people buy my product? Why should a VC invest $5 million in my startup? If you can answer these questions before going for an interview or a pitch, I'm pretty sure you'll triple your chances of getting what you want. My fourth and final point is evoke emotions. You can sell with emotions. Think of it, people are driven by emotions. Most of their attitudes, actions, and desires are triggered by emotions. It's why people use it as a sales tool because it just works. Think of when you bought that really expensive meal you've never tasted before, or that gown or jacket that was really expensive, or maybe that time you gave a relatively large sum of money to a beggar on the road. Not like all these are bad things, but I'm pretty sure that most of them were triggered by emotions that you gave into. I was sitting in the church one cold Sunday morning during the time the pastor was teaching, and I just felt somehow, I felt like my emotions were being messed with. I turned to my friend and whispered, "This pastor is really a good salesman." I said that because he was preaching about giving at the time, and the words he used and the tone he sounded in was just the right way to convince almost anybody to empty their pockets on the altar. He was trying to sell us into giving by using some kind of emotional marketing. Now, I want you to pause for a minute and think about the time that you clicked on an ad while browsing the interweb. I'll wait for you. Now think about what triggered you into clicking that ad. I mean, there are tens of thousands of ads that you skip on the internet almost every time. Well, that particular ad you clicked, what was peculiar to it? If you reason very well, it triggered something in you. It triggered an emotion. You can draw out these salient points and adopt them for the next time you are going to sell something. People use emotions to sell or coerce you into doing things. Of course, that could be a bad or a good thing. But I also think we should all be in a conscious state where we can be able to identify when someone is trying to use our emotions against us. That's it for me today, and I really hope you start to think of ways to use these techniques for better sales in your own life. Thanks for tuning in today. Please subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. Also, leave us a feedback with 5 stars on Apple Podcasts if you enjoyed the show. Thank you very much.